Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference matchup between the Eagles of Judson University and your Fighting Saints. As always, prior to the introductions of this afternoon's starting lineups, we ask you to please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. At this time, let's introduce this afternoon's starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting team, the Eagles of Judson University. At one guard spot, a junior, number 0, Sydney Wolf. At the other guard spot, a sophomore, number 14, Judson Mitchell. At one forward spot, a senior, number 21, Tamia Hanks. And at the other forward spot, a sophomore, number 11, Sydney Novak. Rounding out the lineup for the Eagles in the middle, a junior, number 41, Jasmine Mitchell. The Eagles are coached by Mr. Tyler Morris. And now, the starting lineup for your Fighting Saints. At one guard spot, she's a 5'4" senior from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Number 2, Caitlin Ciaschini. At the other guard spot, a sophomore, number 3, Braxton Mickens. At one forward spot, a 5'8" senior from Wausau, Indiana, number 23, Justine Charlesworth. At the other forward spot, a freshman from Toowoomba, Australia, number 31, Georgie Bolton. Yeah, George. Rounding out the lineup in the middle, a senior from Tarleton, Australia, number 33, Jordan Pyle. Fighting Saints are coached by Mr. John McGinty.
We're live inside the Sullivan Center here on the campus of the University of St. Francis in Joliet, Illinois. Welcome to the broadcast as the Saints take on the Judson Eagles today in a CCAC matchup. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call. We just heard the starting lineups for these two teams. Judson lining up with Sydney Wolf, Sydney Novak, Jocelyn Mitchell, Tamia Banks, and Jasmine Mitchell. And the Fighting Saints countering with Kaylin Ciaschini, Braxton Mickens, Justine Charlesworth, Georgia Bolton, and Jordan Pyle. Andriana Acosta is out today. Came back a bit prematurely from an injury, so she played on Wednesday against Indiana South Bend. Back on the bench today. Jordan Pyle goes against Jasmine Mitchell on the tip, and it's won by Mitchell. And the Eagles going from left to right in their navy blues. St. Francis in gold. They go from right to left for the first half today. Second meeting of the year between these two teams as Mitchell knocks down a long two-point jumper from the top of the key. A nice shot from the junior center, Jasmine Mitchell, to get the scoring started today. A 10-point per game scorer for the Eagles. St. Francis gets to touch the basketball for the first time today. It's Kaylin C.S. Cheney working her way inside. C.S. Cheney underneath the basket, flicks it outside to Bolton. Three-pointer is off the mark, and the rebound goes to Judson. That's Tamia Banks, senior from Evanston, who is the leading scorer this season for the Eagles. She comes down with the rebound and starts the ball moving the other way. It's in the corner right now in the hands of Sydney Wolf. Banks outside with loose coverage. She takes the three and knocks it down. Kaylin C.S. Cheney gave her some space, dared her to take the shot. Banks was all too happy, a 30% three-point shooter. It's her first of the game, and a strong start for Judson, up 5-0. Bolton another effort, and she knocks this one down. So Bolton is 1 for 2 from beyond the arc. St. Francis has their first points of the game. It's 5-3 after a minute and 20 seconds of play. Jocelyn Mitchell across half court, and a whistle blows. I think they're checking on somebody who may have been a little bit shaken up on that last play. Just making sure everybody's healthy. Everybody is. So Judson inbounds the basketball and restarts this possession with the shot clock now at 16. This is Banks around the screen, holding on the wing. Passes off to her left, Sydney Novak. One dribble, picks it up, passes back out to Banks, 7 to shoot. Banks holds on the outside, now steps back and fires another three. This one way off. She hit one on the previous possession. That time, though, she had a hand in her face. Not the best possession for Judson. The Saints, on the other hand, free up Mickens for a wide open look. She misses the three from the corner, and the Eagles come away with it. Sydney Novak slows things down and lets the rest of our, Jocelyn Mitchell lets the rest of the offense catch up. Now it's Sydney Wolf off to Mitchell. Jocelyn Mitchell drives, turns her back as she fires the ball towards the rim and banks it off the front iron. No good. Here's Kaylin C.S. Cheney, three-point attempts. That's no good. Saints have been very aggressive from beyond the arc early in this game. So far they've knocked down just one. It was ruled a two-pointer, with Georgia Bolton having her foot on the line on her jumper made a couple of moments ago. So it is a 5-2 score right now, as Mitchell's turnaround is no good from close range. Both offenses struggling at the moment. Georgia Bolton falls down in the paint, wrenched her knee, and she is on the floor in pain right now. Bad news for St. Francis, and hopefully Georgia Bolton is okay. She was driving inside the free throw line, took one step into the painted area, and immediately just tumbled to the ground. And it looked like she was grabbing at her left knee, so she's getting looked at right now by the training staff, and not a real good sight right now for Bolton. St. Francis is already down two starters. Andriana Acosta has missed the better part of the last month. Shadrian McDaniel went down a couple of weeks ago. She's done for the year. Acosta is in and out right now. No immediate prognosis on when she'll be able to play again. Josie Graffio, of course, was lost for the season during the preseason, hasn't played a minute all year. So injuries have hit the Fighting Saints very hard this year. And right now, Georgia Bolton is in some pain down on the offensive end of the floor for the Fighting Saints. 7 minutes, 18 seconds to play in the first quarter of today's game. 5-3, Judson has the lead. Scoreboard has gone back and forth, but it is settled at 3 right now, so apparently Bolton's shot was officially ruled a three-pointer. That's the only field goal made by the Fighting Saints so far in today's game, that Georgia Bolton three ball. As a team, the Saints are just 1 of 4 from the field. All but one of their attempts has come from beyond the three-point line. Georgia Bolton, freshman from Australia, who has really been impressive in her first season here with the Fighting Saints, now being helped off the floor, putting no weight on the left leg. So the immediate indication is not all that positive for the left leg, but obviously they'll take a look at her and hopefully she's all right going forward. But for today's game, it looks like for the moment the Saints will be without her. Hannah Swiatek checks in. And that's a big loss, whether she's out just for today or for however long that injury lasts. Bolton was starting her 15th game of the year today, averaging 7.3 points, 4.5 rebounds per game as the three-pointer misses from Judson. That was Novak on the shot. Here come the Saints. Switek immediately making her presence felt in the game, drives but misses the layup in traffic. And a foul called on Jordan Pyle, looking for the rebound. So Switek just checked in for the injured Georgia Bolton and getting her first touch of the game. An impressive drive cutting through the defense, just not quite able to finish at the rim. And the Saints are now 1 of 5 from the field. Judson has the ball back with a 2-point lead. Sydney Wolf up top, guarded by Charlesworth, passed off to Mitchell on the left elbow. Mitchell spins and passes back outside. Banks, Tania Banks steps into a long two and misses. Switek grabs the rebound. So Judson struggling to shoot as well right now. They scored on their first 2 possessions, not since. Charlesworth for 3, gives the Saints the lead. Justine Charlesworth hits on her first field goal attempt of the game. And St. Francis is ahead for the first time, 6-5. Judson has missed their last 5 shots. That makes it 6 in a row. Jocelyn Mitchell from the baseline. And a big part of the reason for all these misses, they're not taking very smart shots at the moment. Charlesworth is. She hits another 3. Justine Charlesworth now 2 of 2 from beyond the arc. And St. Francis is on a 9-0 run, courtesy of 3 3-pointers. Charlesworth took those last 2 shots in rhythm. That's something that Judson has not been able to do. A lot of flat-footed jumpers early in this game as Mitchell fights her way inside and rolls it in. Nice post move there by Jasmine Mitchell, who's got 4 of her team's first 7 points. So prior to that possession, what I was saying about Judson, not a lot of ball movement. That time they were able to feed their center inside, and Mitchell was able to take care of Jordan Pyle. This time it's Pyle on the drive, taking it in to Sydney Novak and drawing the foul. Novak called for her first. It's the team's first foul. 5:08 to play in the first quarter. And that foul was ruled on the floor. So the Saints will inbound from the baseline. C.S. Cheney lobs it in for Pyle. Handoff, Justine Charlesworth. Around a screen to the left, back to Pyle. Jordan Pyle's been quiet early on in this one. Hannah Switek takes it around Mitchell to the basket. No good. Gets her own rebound. Shovels it out to Pyle. Jordan Pyle, nice move around Mitchell, but too hard off the glass. And this time, Sydney Novak is able to come down with the rebound for the Eagles. Judson in transition. Sydney Wolf down to the corner. Good defense from Charlesworth. Passed out to Mitchell. Judson resets at the top of the key. It's Tamia Banks. Banks moves in on Mickens, floats it towards the rim and scores to tie it up at 9. Nice drive to Mia Banks. She's got 5. Judson's 9 points have come from 2 different players. Just Banks and Mitchell have scored so far. Braxton Mickens drives with the left hand, gets inside and a little bit too far under the rim. She puts it up off the bottom of the backboard. The rebound is knocked out of bounds by Judson, so the Saints will get to keep it with 20 on the shot clock. Good drive from Mickens, but she took it in a step too far. Saints will get a chance to make up for it. Jordan Pyle gets in just the right space to the basket, and she lays it in. A good drive along the baseline for her first 2 points. That's St. Francis' first 2-point field goal of the game. They're up 11-9, just over 6 minutes into the action. Saints had just 9 active players coming into play today. They're down to 8 with Georgia Bolton having left with a very early injury. Step back 3, Banks misses it off the front rim. Rebound to Jordan Pyle. Pyle lobs ahead for Mickens. Braxton Mickens down low, no good, grabs her own rebound. And now in a sea of blue shirts, a tie-up is called, and the possession arrow faces St. Francis. Mickens checks out. Here comes Kaylee Ford into the game. Ford wearing Shadrian McDaniel's number 14. Drives from the left side and scores over Mitchell. Nice move by Ford. And a timeout is called by St. Francis. 3:21 to play first quarter. 13-9, the Fighting Saints have the lead. And good to see Kaylee Ford scoring immediately after checking in. We saw the same thing from Hannah Switek. Switek didn't actually finish her drive, but same story in that as soon as she checked in, she immediately got aggressive and drove to the rim on her first possession. And John McGinty is going to ask for some of those subs to step up in a big way here. Playing even more shorthanded than they've been, and they've been shorthanded all season. Today, only Ford, Switek, and Carlene Jones, and Maria Cruz-Uceda were available off the bench. 9 players total were available for the Fighting Saints today. Now with Georgia Bolton out, they're down to just 8 total. Maria Cruz-Uceda checks in as Kaylee Ford checks out. So it's Uceda, Pyle, C.S. Cheney, Charlesworth, and Switek on the floor for the Fighting Saints. Coming out of the timeout with 3 minutes and 16 seconds to play in the first quarter. Saints immediately went down 5-0. And they fought their way back with 9 in a row. They now lead it by 4, 13-9 as Kaylee Ford makes her way back to the bench. She's wearing her correct jersey number now. She was wearing Shadrian McDaniel's number 14. I think she was on the score sheet, presumably as number 4, which is why she had to go and change her uniform back to the correct number. But because she was in the wrong one initially, and she scored that last basket, a technical foul has been assessed to St. Francis. So before we resume play out of this timeout, Tamia Banks will get to shoot the technical foul free throws, and she makes the first of 2. Banks, a 71% foul shooter, makes them both. So a wash on that last possession for Kaylee Ford. She scored 2 for the Fighting Saints and then gave up 2 by having worn the wrong jersey. And I'm wondering what the situation was there. Did she work out a deal with Shadrian McDaniel if she got to wear her jersey since McDaniel is out, and maybe forget to inform the coaching staff, and so it was reported wrong on the score sheet? Or did she put on the wrong uniform? That seems unlikely, that she would just, for whatever reason, have the wrong one. Number 14 instead of number 4. It's an easy mistake, I suppose, just a single straight line. But she is wearing number 4 now, and she's on the bench. Maria Cruz-Uceda out there as the drive and a layup no good for Mercedes Rhodes. Rhodes getting her first field goal attempt of the game out of the timeout. Gives it back to St. Francis after the miss, and the Fighting Saints draw the foul. Hannah Switek on the drive is bumped. Second foul called against Judson. Haven Byer is in as well for Judson. Byer and Mercedes Rhodes came in during the timeout. Now Sydney Novak checks out. Saints have the basketball. Jordan Pyle to the bench as well. Braxton Mickens back in for her, and Mickens scores on the drive. Nice move down low for Braxton Mickens as she scores her first 2 of the game, and the Saints extend their lead back to 4. It's been 4 several times here, and that's as much as St. Francis has led by in this first quarter. Banks has been very aggressive from the outside. That was a 2-pointer, and it missed short. Rebound to Maria Cruz-Uceda. Here comes Justine Charlesworth. Up top to Kaylin C.S. Cheney. C.S. Cheney crosses over, off balance, throws one wildly out of bounds. Looked like she was just trying to draw the foul there. Didn't get the call. And the Saints turn it over. Kaylin C.S. Cheney tries to get it right back. She pokes the ball loose from the hands of Sydney Wolf and out of bounds. Eagles ball once again. Against the full court press, Tamia Banks is able to get across half court. Banks double teamed. In some trouble down low. Kicks it outside. Rhodes up to Mitchell. Top of the key. Jumper no good. Rebound to Kaylin C.S. Cheney. Braxton Mickens drives to the right hand. Mickens stripped out of bounds by Rhodes. We saw Georgia Bolton on that last possession walking back towards St. Francis's bench on crutches. She's got the left knee wrapped up, and looked like what she was clutching at when she was on the ground a little while ago. She left with that injury, so it is, as originally thought, a left knee injury. The Saints are called for the travel. Maria Cruz-Uceda walked, and now she walks to the bench. Jordan Pyle back in. It looked like it had the potential to be a serious injury as she left the floor, and I think the presence of the crutches for Georgia Bolton confirms that she is at very least out for the rest of today. So the Saints will go with just 8 players the rest of this one. A trap at half court and a timeout called by Sydney Wolf as she was bottled up by Mickens and Pyle. Good defense by the Fighting Saints. Forces Judson to call the timeout. 1:48 to play in what has become a pretty lengthy first quarter. Saints got off to a slow start. They have found their rhythm shooting the basketball a little bit better. They're 6 of 15 from the field. Justine Charlesworth leads the way with 6 points on a couple of three-pointers, but credit to Judson as they have played well early on. Tamia Banks has 7 points to keep the Eagles in the game, and that is something that Judson has not been able to do against St. Francis, typically in recent years, stay in the game. They have not beaten the Fighting Saints since the first ever meeting between the two teams. The Saints have won 17 in a row against Judson since then, including a game earlier this year, which was the season opener for both teams. The Saints won that one by 31 for being exact. It might as well be, I suppose. That was a non-conference game, oddly enough, scheduled between the two coaches prior to the start of CCAC play. So this is the first official conference meeting of the year and the only one on the schedule between St. Francis and Judson this season. Tamia Banks on the right side, up top to Mitchell. 3 on the shot clock as Mitchell throws it off to Byer. Byer with the shot clock running out, misses the jumper, and Kaylin C.S. Cheney comes away with the rebound. C.S. Cheney moving quickly, back to Charlesworth, and she hits again. Justine Charlesworth is 3 of 3 from beyond the arc today. Charlesworth inching closer to that 3-point record. That was her 69th of the season. She is less than 20 away from Kamari Jordan's single-season 3-point record, and barring injury, Charlesworth should get there pretty easily as a foul is called on the Fighting Saints. 2 free throws coming up for Sydney Wolf. Kaylee Ford checks back in for Mickens, who picked up her first foul. 2 fouls on each team now. 7-point lead for the Fighting Saints, and it remains 7 for the moment as Wolf misses on her first foul shot. Sydney Wolf, junior from St. Louis, goes 1 of 2 from the line. It's her first point of the game. Makes it a 6-point contest. Here's Charlesworth, passing off to her left. Hannah Switek on the outside, guarded loosely by Mercedes Rhodes. Bounce down low in the post. Kaylee Ford struggles with the basketball, regains her composure and passes outside. 12 to shoot. C.S. Cheney on the drive, finds an open shooter in the corner. Jordan Pyle airballs the 3, and the rebound safely into the hands of Jasmine Mitchell. Eagles will try to cut this down heading into the first quarter break. Had a productive offensive period as the leaner is good for Sydney Wolf. 4-point game, the shot clock is off. Sydney Wolf has scored the last 3 now for Judson. Kaylin C.S. Cheney holds until the clock runs under 10 seconds and now starts to make her move for the final shot of the quarter. C.S. Cheney pulls up down low, gives it up inside. Kaylee Ford lays it in. She's got 4, and the first quarter comes to a close. St. Francis got off to a very slow start, but they picked up the offense as the quarter progressed. 20-14 our score as they close out the period on a 20-9 stretch after initially falling behind 5-0. St. Francis, I mentioned before, hasn't lost to Judson in their last 17 meetings. It's been even more dominant of late. It's been 4 years since Judson has even played them to within 20 points, including the blowout victory for the Fighting Saints earlier this year in John McGinty's first game as head coach of the Fighting Saints. It was also Tyler Morris's first game as the head coach of Judson. And Morris has the Eagles playing their best basketball of late. They've won their last 2 games, one of them a conference matchup. They beat Lincoln in a tight one on Wednesday. And so today they're trying to make it 3 consecutive games. They also beat Great Lakes Christian last week, a non-conference game for them. But after a very slow start to this year, they are starting to come around a little bit. Judson came into play today 4-12 overall. They're 4-7 in conference. If you're only going to have 4 wins on the season, they might as well all come in conference play. They've been a little bit better when it's mattered the most. And they have not played poorly by any means today against a shorthanded St. Francis squad. Got off to a strong start and trail by just 6 at the end of 1. They haven't shot the ball very well, 5 of 16, 31%. Saints are up to 44% after their slow start. St. Francis starts the second quarter with Pyle, Switek, and Ford in the front court. Mickens and C.S. Cheney are the guards. Judson gets first possession here. Jasmine Mitchell in the post on Ford. Turnaround up with the left hand. Nice move on Jasmine Mitchell. She's got a big size advantage against whoever she's going up against for St. Francis. 6'3" tall. She was guarded by 5'9" Kaylee Ford on that last possession. Here's Mickens off the cut, no good. Too strong off the glass, a little bit out of control on that shot. Here come the Eagles, down by just 4 points. Jasmine Mitchell at the top of the key, passes to her right. Mercedes Rhodes lobbed inside, Mitchell kicked outside. On the left wing, it's Wolf driving, passing back out to Byer with 7 to shoot. Corner jumper misses from 3-point range for Sydney Wolf. Jordan Pyle on the other end gets Banks off balance. Can't finish though. Kaylee Ford is there to finish. Nice work from Kaylee Ford today. Getting a little extra playing time with Georgia Bolton out with an injury. And Kaylee Ford has scored 6 points already in today's game. She averages just 1.8 per contest this season. This is Haven Byer outside, passing off to her right. 10 to shoot for Tamia Banks, who's got a game-high 7, or at least a team-high 7. Banks, step-back jumper is good. She's got 9. Judson is hanging in there with St. Francis, matching them shot for shot over the first 12 minutes of today's ball game. Jordan Pyle tries to work her way inside, can't get through. Out to Kaylin C.S. Cheney, a wild miss on a 3-pointer. C.S. Cheney continues to struggle with the shot. And Judson can make it a 1-score game here. Rhodes works her way under the basket and kicks it back out to Banks. Banks on the drive, right side, lays it up and in. Nice drive by Tamia Banks. She's been very impressive so far today, as have the Eagles as a unit here, down by just 2 points against the St. Francis team that came into play today, 3rd in the conference with an 11-2 record. Jordan Pyle misses the 3, and Kaylee Ford is called for the loose ball foul. First foul of the quarter on the Fighting Saints. That's Ford's first. Charlesworth and Maria Cruz-Uceda are back in. Ford and Switek to the bench. Two-point lead for St. Francis. Judson has the ball. That means they could tie or take the lead right here. A foul is called on the Fighting Saints. They have not led since it was 5-3. Our last tie was at 9-all. Inbounded to Banks. Banks passes to Rhodes on the right wing. Mercedes Rhodes passes to her left. Jocelyn Mitchell back in. Here's Banks working down low against C.S. Cheney. 4 on the shot clock. Wolf, open look up top. In and out on the 3. Saints catch a break with the shot clock running out. The Eagles got a very good look at the basket. Kaylin C.S. Cheney is blocked and steps out of bounds trying to get it back. Sydney Novak comes up with the block. And a big play by Novak. She turns away Kaylin C.S. Cheney for starters, and then C.S. Cheney tried to regroup and grab the ball again off the deflection, but she stepped down the out-of-bounds line as she did. Judson has another chance here to take the lead. Three-pointer for Rhodes is no good, a little short. And St. Francis dodges another bullet. They maintain the narrow advantage. Maria Cruz-Uceda working inside against Banks, throws it away. She gives it up to Mercedes Rhodes. A takeaway for the Eagles. Mitchell on the cut. Jocelyn Mitchell lays it up and in and ties the score. Timeout called by John McGinty as he has seen his team's lead disappear. Saints led by as many as 7 points late in the first quarter. But Judson has come back on an 11-4 run, and they have tied the score 22-22. And now the Saints are struggling to shoot just 1 of 6 from the field here in the second quarter. They're off to a slow shooting start in the first quarter as well before turning it around. But as a team, they're shooting just 38% right now. The bright spot has been Justine Charlesworth, 3 of 3 on 3-point attempts today. She's got a team-high 9. Tamia Banks leads all scorers with 11 points on 4 of 8 shooting for Judson. Both Charlesworth and Kaylee Ford have made all 3 of their field goal attempts today. Aside from the 2 of them, St. Francis has gone 3 of 18 from the field. Jordan Pyle, Braxton Mickens, and Kaylin C.S. Cheney in particular have struggled to shoot the ball. The Saints a little bit off their game right now. Georgia Bolton scored the first 3 points of the game for St. Francis, and she hasn't played since. She went out with a knee injury about a minute after that. And she is on the bench right now with her foot up. And that knee wrapped up. So she's done for the day. Here's Hannah Switek on the drive with the left hand. She's fouled going up for the layup. Switek's been good when she's been aggressive today, and she was aggressive on that possession, getting her 2 free throws. Fouls the first on Tamia Banks. And the free throws are the first of the game for St. Francis. Switek, a 64% shooter from the line, reclaims the lead for the Fighting Saints by making her first. That is Switek's first point today, and she remains at 1. And the Saints will get the ball back. Sydney Novak went for the rebound. Braxton Mickens went at it as well, and the presence of Mickens forced Novak to fall out of bounds. So the Saints get inbounded here. Into Charlesworth, 3-pointer, got it. 4 for 4 today. Justine Charlesworth. The lead is right back to 4. A 4-point possession for St. Francis. That's huge. After they had seen their 7-point lead go down to 0. Sydney Wolf is stuck in trouble. Jordan Pyle tries to rip the ball away, and she forces the possession arrow, which faces St. Francis. So coming out of the timeout, the Saints a little bit more fired up. They've been very aggressive here. It's led them to 4 points, and now a takeaway. Here's Kaylin C.S. Cheney handing off to Braxton Mickens. To Charlesworth on the left wing. And a whistle away from the ball. We've got a foul on Judson, a foul on St. Francis. This is on Jordan Pyle. Oops, sorry, Hannah Switek. Switek's first. The team's third. Switek came on when Georgia Bolton went out with that injury. She has not left the floor since then. About 12 minutes of game time. Picked up her first point on the last possession, and now her first foul turns it over. Tamia Banks on the wing. With Jordan Pyle in her face. Passes it off to the left. Here's Mitchell. Pull-up jumper, no good. Rebound chased down by Novak, who is bumped on the floor, out of bounds. No foul. She stepped on the line. And the Saints take it away once again. Just over 5 minutes to play in the first half. 26-22. in what's been kind of a disjointed game so far. Jordan Pyle, nice touch on the turnaround. It's the Saints by 6. They've scored the last 6 points. And that was after a John McGinty timeout. Triple team on Banks, and she's fouled. See who they get on this one. I think it'll be Mickens, who was the last one to come in and join the party. Came in a little bit too emphatically. And she's called for her second foul. She got a little shove in the back of Tamia Banks. 4th foul on St. Francis. And Mickens is likely lost for the rest of the half with her 2 fouls. Here's Wolf. Wolf, jumper, air ball, out of bounds. So the run continues for St. Francis. It's been a while since Judson last scored. They tied it up 22-22. But it was about 2 minutes ago that they last put the ball in the basket and forced that score. Since then, St. Francis has scored 6 times. 6 points anyway, 3 field goals as that ball is knocked out of bounds. It stays with the Fighting Saints, 18 on the shot clock. Lobbed in for Maria Cruz Uceda. Bounced underneath. Jordan Pyle. Pyle battling for position. Banks it in over over Sydney Novak. And the Saints lead by 8. 8-0 run for St. Francis. Their second run of the game of at least this many points. They scored 9 straight back in the first quarter at one point. Banks passes to Jasmine Mitchell. Lobbed in for Mitchell again. Kicked outside Banks. Banks has just 4 seconds to shoot. She fires one up, way off. I don't think she got the rim. There's a shot clock violation. It's hard to tell if maybe that ball grazed the side of the rim, but it did not. So the ensuing fight for the ball doesn't mean much of anything. We nearly got a held ball there, and I think that would have been preferable for St. Francis because the possession arrow would have faced Judson with 1 on the shot clock, but the whistle did not blow for that tie-up. Instead, the buzzer sounded for the shot clock violation. Here's Kaylin C.S. Cheney blowing by everybody and laying it in. First points of the game for Kaylin C.S. Cheney. It's a 10-0 run for St. Francis, and Tyler Morris calls a full timeout from the Judson bench. Great run here for the Fighting Saints. They called timeout themselves about 3 minutes ago. At the time the game was tied 22-22. Now it's a 10-point Fighting Saints lead as they have done all the scoring during the last 3 minutes. Judson ice cold now. Eagles are shooting 35% from the field. Meanwhile, the Saints have made 4 consecutive field goal attempts. 3:35 to play in the first half, and the Saints are starting to take this game over. Long way to go still, and Judson continues to hang around, so it's not over by any means, but this is a game that St. Francis figured coming in that they could hopefully run away with early, considering the way the first meeting between these two teams went this year, but that was a much different St. Francis team. With Shadrian McDaniel, Andriana Acosta, Amari Sims, and Georgia Bolton all available. Judson is not without their injuries. Addie Ringel, their senior forward, is out today. Ringel has started 11 of the 16 games played by Judson this year, and she is unavailable. Tamia Banks carries it up top. Passes off to the left, Sydney Wolf. Wolf gives it up to Sydney Novak. Shot clock under 10 for Rhodes. Mercedes Rhodes passes to her left. 2 on the shot clock. Wolf doesn't see the clock, and way late on that shot. Another shot clock violation. That's 2 in a row for Judson, and this one out of a timeout. It's only their 4th turnover of the game, but they've done it back-to-back times on shot clock violations. And the Saints have a chance to extend what is already a 10-0 run. Braxton Mickens drives with the left hand. Mickens underneath. Reverse layup is good over Jasmine Mitchell. Beautiful drive by Braxton Mickens. Tough shooting night for Mickens, but that has not stopped her aggressiveness towards the hoop. She's been going strong to the basket all throughout this game. Here's Jasmine Mitchell passing to her right. Sydney Wolf. Wolf crosses over on Charlesworth. Finds Mitchell on the wing. The jumper is no good. Offensive rebound. Put back misses, but a foul is called, sending Sydney Novak to the line. 2:28 to play in the first half. It's been 4 minutes since Judson last scored, but they've got a chance to change that now from the free throw line. Sydney Novak is the best free throw shooter on the team. And she proves it by making the first. So that snaps that 4-minute drought and the 12-0 St. Francis run. Two for two for Sydney Novak. 34-24. St. Francis ball. Here's Anna Switek lobbing down low to Jordan Pyle. Kicked outside. Kaylin C.S. Cheney. Charlesworth, three-pointer, way off that time. May have been tipped by Banks. Jordan Pyle comes away with the rebound. Another chance for the Saints. C.S. Cheney's pass inside looking for Pyle. Just deflected away by Sydney Wolf and stolen by the Eagles. That three-point miss from Justine Charlesworth was her first of the game. She had been 4 of 4. Judson still looking for their first field goal in over 4 minutes. The jumper misses from Tamia Banks. Offensive rebound, Novak. Layup is good. So that 4.5-minute drought is over. And Judson has scored the last 4 points to cut the deficit back to single digits. Final 90 seconds of the half as Jordan Pyle lays it in. Good ball movement by the Fighting Saints, and they find Pyle down low with the layup. It's been a quiet first half for Jordan Pyle, but a big bucket right there. Wolf, long two, way off. Judson has settled for a lot of long two-point jumpers in this first half. Has not worked for them. Hannah Switek tries the three. That's off the mark. Rebound Braxton Mickens. Given up to Justine Charlesworth, who lays it in. 14 points for Justine Charlesworth. Braxton Mickens grabbed the rebound and the assist on that possession. We're under a minute to play in the first half. Banks has been quiet lately. Inside, this is Jasmine Mitchell. Mitchell thought she was fouled. She lost the ball, and the Saints come away with it. Braxton Mickens left alone on the drive with the left hand, lays it up and in. Mickens in the last minute has a rebound and assist and now 2 points. Biggest lead of the game for St. Francis. They've scored 6 in a row. Shot clock is on, but the difference is negligible right now. Only about a second between shot and game clocks as the Saints knock it away. Charlesworth touched it last before it went out of bounds. Jocelyn Mitchell, the sophomore Mitchell, will inbound here. Tamia Banks fires the three, no good. And the rebound chased down to the sideline, out of bounds off of St. Francis with 3.5 seconds left. So the Eagles could have held for the last shot before. Banks fired a quick three and missed it. And now they'll get another chance for the last shot here. Again, it'll be Banks. And the shot doesn't count. Didn't go in anyway, but an offensive foul called first. And it goes against Tamia Banks on the push-off. So 0.6 of a second left in the half. It looks like we've got our halftime score. Kaylin C.S. Cheney grabs the pass, and the buzzer sounds. It's halftime here in Joliet. St. Francis and Judson went back and forth for a while. It was tied as recently as 22-22, but St. Francis ended the half on an 18-4 run, including having scored the last 6 in a row. So they've got a comfortable lead heading into the break. We've got 15 minutes on the clock for halftime, and after that, I'll be back to bring you some first half stats and some second half action down on Pat Quigley Court as St. Francis leads Judson 40-26 halftime here on the USF Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the USF competitive dance team to the floor. They will be performing this season's competitive routine. Placed first out of 4 teams. Congratulations to the USF competitive dance team.
Halftime here at St. Francis. The Fighting Saints lead the Judson Eagles 40-26. Terry Bonadonna back with you for another 20 minutes of basketball. Saints got off to a slow start today, and then they got off to a slow start to the second quarter as well. They trailed early on, but built a lead of 6 at the end of the first quarter before Judson came back, tied at 22 all. The Saints scored 18 of the final 22 combined points in the half, though, ending up on a 6-0 run. Justine Charlesworth is the team leader with 14 points, 4 of 5 from three-point range. Jordan Piles got 8 points, 5 rebounds. Kaylin C.S. Cheney just 2 points, but she has filled the stat sheet. 6 rebounds, 5 assists for Kaylin C.S. Cheney right now. As for Judson, Tamia Banks leads the team with 11 points, but on just 4 of 11 shooting, including 1 of 6 from three-point range. She made her first three-pointer of the game, and she's missed 5 in a row since then. Good first half for Jasmine Mitchell with 6 points. Sydney Novak had 6 and 5 rebounds. The Fighting Saints turned it over 5 times. Judson turned it over 5 times in the first half. Rebounding was very much in the Fighting Saints' favor, 24-16. They out-rebounded Judson. And probably the biggest notch in Judson's favor right now is free throw shooting, 5 of 6. The Saints have only taken 2 foul shots. They're 1 of 2 from the line. Georgia Bolton left the game just a couple of minutes in after suffering a knee injury. And so Hannah Switek starts the second half on the floor. Other than that, we've got all of the starters out there for both teams as Tamia Banks takes it off to the right side for Judson. Eagles going from right to left now on your screens, and the Saints will be going from left to right to wrap this thing up. Here's Jasmine Mitchell inside. Mitchell scoops it up with the left hand. No good. Well defended by Jordan Pyle, who grabs her 6th rebound. Kaylin C.S. Cheney fires over to Switek. Three-point attempt. No good. Switek is 0 for 2 from three-point range so far in today's game. Has not been all that effective this season from beyond the arc. She's hit just 25% from long range. That jumper misses from Jocelyn Mitchell. That was a long 2. Switek takes it the other way. Switek inside, tripped up by Tamia Banks. And Banks is called for her 3rd foul.
Judson foul number 21 to Maya Banks.
Big foul right there on Judson very quickly, just 50 seconds into the half.
First of the third quarter.
Banks has not left the floor today, but she might have to now with 3 fouls as Switek misses on the first free throw. The Eagles have only committed 5 fouls as a team today, but they've all come from 2 people. The free throw is no good. So both Banks and Novak are in foul trouble. Nobody else is. Switek just 1 of 4 from the free throw line today. Braxton Mickens has committed 2 fouls for St. Francis. There's Jasmine Mitchell kicking it out to Sydney Wolf. Back into Mitchell. Mitchell, 1 dribble. Scoops it up again with the left hand. This time she's able to finish over Jordan Pyle. 8 points for Jasmine Mitchell. Snaps a 6-0 St. Francis spurt going back to the first half. Saints had been on an 18-4 run prior to that bucket. Here's Hannah Switek driving on Jasmine Mitchell. Gets underneath the basket. Kicks it into the corner. Braxton Mickens misses on the 3. Rebound goes to Novak, but Pyle takes it right back away and draws the foul going up. So there's 3 fouls on Sydney Novak. And Jordan Pyle's going to the free throw line.
That's her 2nd, team 2nd.
This is the first time that Pyle's been to the free throw line today. First time any Saint has other than Hannah Switek. Pyle makes the first foul shot. Pyle goes 2 of 2. 10 points now for Jordan Pyle. She's quietly had a very nice game. 16 points per game. She leads the Saints in scoring this season. Tamia Banks makes it across half court. Banks passes off to Wolf. And Wolf takes it back towards the far side of the floor. Up top it's Mitchell. More than half the shot clock gone. Jocelyn Mitchell receives the pass from Jasmine. Into the corner for Wolf, who lands on the sideline out of bounds. And it's a turnover. Just the 6th of the game committed by Judson. They've been good at protecting the basketball, but that has not translated into a big day for them as they trail by 14. Slow start to this second half. Both teams have only scored 2 points. Mickens drives with the left hand. Braxton Mickens wings it outside. Switek for 3. Short. Rebound Mickens. Kaylin C.S. Cheney drives. C.S. Cheney right around Banks, misses the layup. Banks backed off, wary of picking up the 4th foul. So C.S. Cheney had a free path there. Couldn't finish as Braxton Mickens knocks the ball free from Tamia Banks' hands and out of bounds. It stays with Judson with 24 on the shot clock. Good hands by Mickens. No turnover, though, for the Eagles as they get to restart. Mitchell down low, comes up short. Well defended by Pyle, who grabs another rebound. She's closing in on a double-double. Jordan Pyle skips it outside. Switek on the drive. Hit on the floor. Foul called on Jocelyn Mitchell.
Foul called on number 14, Jocelyn Mitchell. Her first, team's third.
First foul on Jocelyn Mitchell. Judson has already committed 3 in this third quarter after just 5 in the first half. C.S. Cheney is short on the 3-point attempt, and Tamia Banks grabs the rebound. 3 minutes in, and the Saints do not yet have a field goal in this half. 2 points for Jordan Pyle from the free throw line. That's it. Jasmine Mitchell into the cutting Sydney Novak. Her runner is no good. And the rebound goes to Mickens. Braxton Mickens works quickly down the floor, gets inside the 3-point line, and slows it down. Here's Switek on the drive. Switek forces one up with the left hand and in. Novak tried to cut her off defensively, but Switek able to finish anyway. Really nice drive for Switek, who's had a good game in all but one way, just has not been able to shoot the ball very effectively, and that changes on that one. Her first field goal, she's got 3 points. First field goal of the half for St. Francis, who extends the lead to a game-high 16 points. This is Sydney Wolf. Wolf loses the ball, trying to get it back, just 4 on the shot clock, and a foul is called on St. Francis. Switek going after the loose ball, a big foul.
St. Francis foul number 24.
As it resets the shot clock to 20. Switek was trying to take possession back for St. Francis, but even if she hadn't right there, I don't think Judson was going to have enough time to get a shot off. So a big break for the Eagles. Third foul on Switek. Sydney Wolf, pull up from the elbow, short on the jumper. Another rebound for Jordan Pyle. That's her 8th. Quickly ahead to Switek, who misses the layup. That's the second time that's happened. The Saints have gotten an open layup because Tamia Banks, with her 3 fouls, has elected not to challenge defensively. And the Saints have not been able to finish either time. Wolf bounces inside to Novak. Novak is stripped by Pyle, and the loose ball is picked up by Braxton Mickens. Nice bounce ahead to Jordan Pyle, an easy layup for Pyle. Jordan Pyle is taking over this game in the second half. She's already got 6 points and 3 rebounds since halftime. I think that 4 points and 3 rebounds since halftime. Team only has 6. Pyle is playing extremely good defense as well. As Banks is hit on her way to the hoop, she'll go to the free throw line.
St. Francis foul number 3, Braxton.
18-point lead for the Fighting Saints is their biggest so far today. Braxton Mickens has picked up her 3rd foul. So she and Switek both have 3 now. Switek checks out. Kaylee Ford is back in. First free throw is good from Banks. Ford had a nice impact in the first half. She played only 4 minutes, but had 6 points. Banks makes both free throws. 46-30 with just over 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Kaylin C.S. Cheney out to Justine Charlesworth. Here's Mickens on the left wing. Mickens drives down the lane. Layup is good. Beautiful drive from Braxton Mickens. Inside to Sydney Wolf. Wolf backs in for Judson, deflected out by Mickens. Stays with the Eagles, 20 to shoot, 4:42 to play in the third quarter. Lobbed up top. Banks inside to Jasmine Mitchell. Mitchell up with the left, no good. Another rebound for Jordan Pyle. Here's Pyle on the move. Sends it outside to Kaylin C.S. Cheney, and C.S. Cheney works her way around the key. Now back out to Pyle. Pyle backs in, turns around, and scores over Novak. 14 for Jordan Pyle. She has matched Justine Charlesworth for a team high. A drive from Banks, and she's fouled. Banks will head right back to the free throw line where she's made all 4 of her attempts.
Foul called on number 2, Kaylin C.S. Cheney, her second.
Second foul on Kaylin C.S. Cheney. And the Switek is back in for Braxton Mickens. Free throw is good from Banks. She's 5 of 5 from the line, 14 points overall. She scores again. 15 for Banks. Team's leading scorer on the season. She came in averaging right about 15 per game. She's there with 14 minutes still to play. Jordan Pyle is heating up for the Saints. A three-pointer for Pyle makes it a 21-point St. Francis lead. And Pyle now has a game-high 17 points to go along with 9 rebounds and a pair of steals. Quiet game on Wednesday in the win against Indiana South Bend for Jordan Pyle, but she's making up for lost time today. Big game for the senior from Australia. And now trying to come up with another steal. She got the deflection. Mitchell picked up the loose ball, though. Got it off to Rhodes, and Rhodes is tripped. The freshman, Mercedes Rhodes,
her third, team's fourth,
was able to pull herself up as Kaylin C.S. Cheney was called for her third foul. That's the 4th on the Saints, so the next one will send the Eagles to the free throw line. Banks passes to the right. Mitchell back to Banks. Around a screen. Banks lobs it down low for Jasmine Mitchell. Mitchell against a double team, kicks it outside. 4 on the shot clock for Tamia Banks, who runs right into Jordan Pyle, and Pyle comes up with another steal. Saints have numbers. Pyle lets Banks blow by and lays it in. Jordan Pyle gets the steal and the layup on the other end. Great sequence there for Pyle. And a timeout is called. 3 minutes to play in the third quarter, and the Saints are pulling away 55-32 as they try to put Judson away with another 20-plus point victory. It's been 4 years since the last time Judson has given the Fighting Saints a game. January of 2018, a 9-point loss. The last time they came within 20 against this Fighting Saints team that has been led today by Jordan Pyle. 8 of 12 shooting, 19 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals for Pyle. And the majority of that scoring has come since halftime. She's got 11 of her team's 15 second half points. So Pyle has taken charge of this game, and Judson has not been able to put the ball in the basket lately. 28% shooting now. They're just 1 of 7 in this half. And they have not been able to get the ball consistently enough in the hands of their star player, Tamia Banks. Banks has not taken a field goal attempt in this third quarter. All 4 of her points have come from the free throw line. Coming out of the timeout, the Saints lead by 23 with an even 3 minutes to play. This game was tied at 22. Since then, St. Francis has outscored Judson 33-10. Switek, Ford, Pyle, Charlesworth, and C.S. Cheney on the floor for St. Francis. Wolf, Banks, Jasmine Mitchell, Novak, and Rhodes are out there for the Eagles of Judson. And here's Wolf. Out to Banks. Banks looks inside, didn't have Mitchell. Pass back out instead. Drive from Banks, bounces it in to the corner. Three-pointer Wolf is good. Judson had missed 9 consecutive three-pointers before that shot. And Wolf is successful for the first time today from the outside. She's got 6 points overall. C.S. Cheney misses on the three-point attempt. One and done for the Saints as Banks takes it the other way. Up to Jasmine Mitchell, swung around into the corner. This is Mercedes Rhodes. Lob down to Jasmine Mitchell. Outside Novak, long two. Got the net loose, but couldn't finish on the shot, and a loose ball foul called on the Eagles. 2:07 to play, third quarter. Maria Cruz-Uceda and Braxton Nickens are back in for the Fighting Saints, who lead by 20. Kaylin C.S. Cheney walks it across half court. Now picks up the pace a little bit. Step back jumper. C.S. Cheney missed it. Rebound to Judson. Banks on the other end of the floor. Off to Wolf. Down to the corner, Rhodes. Mercedes Rhodes working against Switek. Layup. Yes, and a foul. Foul called on Hannah Switek, number 4 on her. And Mercedes Rhodes has a chance to make this a three-point play. Rhodes is a good foul shooter. And she makes this one. First 3 points of the game for Mercedes Rhodes. As she gets on the board, she pulls the Eagles within 7. 6 straight points for Judson. A couple of three-point plays. One the traditional way and one from behind the arc. C.S. Cheney off balance layup on the drive. Held that left foot and able to bank it in. Nice work by Kaylin C.S. Cheney. That snaps that 6-0 spurt for the Eagles. Bounced in for Jasmine Mitchell. Out to Wolf. Three-point attempt. No. Way off. And the rebound to the Saints. Here's Kaylin C.S. Cheney coming out of the pile. C.S. Cheney around 2 defenders. Lays it in and gets the foul. Kaylin C.S. Cheney's had a good game. Her shooting was causing her grief, though. Prior to the last possession, she had been 1 of 8 from the field. Now she's hit 2 in a row, and Tamia Banks has been called for her 4th foul. Banks checks out for the first time all game. And C.S. Cheney goes to the free throw line and hits. 7 points for Kaylin C.S. Cheney. She's also got 7 rebounds, 5 assists today. Pass went through the hands of Jocelyn Mitchell, and Kaylin C.S. Cheney just scoops it up. Layup on the other end. Kaylin C.S. Cheney is on an individual 7-0 run over the last 40 seconds. And the lead is back up to 24 for St. Francis. It had been down to 17 just a moment ago. Novak, long deuce, is good. Shot clock is off for the Fighting Saints. Kaylin C.S. Cheney has scored the Saints' last 7 points. She's got the ball in her clutches here as the clock runs under 15 seconds. She'll wait for it to go under 10 before making her move. She does move at 9. C.S. Cheney drives, layup good. 9 in a row for Kaylin C.S. Cheney. 2 seconds on the clock. Long shot for Rhodes is short, and the third quarter comes to a close. Dominant period for St. Francis. Slow start offensively. They've gotten off to a slow start in every quarter so far, but they have turned it around each time. They outscored Judson 22-14 in the period and extend their lead to 64-40 with 10 minutes to play. Jordan Pyle scored 11 points and grabbed 4 rebounds in the quarter. She's got 19 and 9 now in the game, to go along with 3 steals. And Kaylin C.S. Cheney, who was having a quiet offensive game until a minute ago, literally a minute ago in game time, scored the last 9 for St. Francis and did it on their last 4 possessions. She's got 11 points now, 7 rebounds and 5 assists. She's got a chance at a double-double in today's game. Also came up with a steal late in that third quarter, and that steal led to the layup on the other end. So our score by quarter today, 20-14, 20-12, and 24-14. It's been very similar in each and every period so far, and as a result, the Saints, without truly controlling any one section of the game, except for maybe stretches late in the second and third, have pulled themselves away in this game and now lead by a completely commanding 24 points. Hannah Switek, Kaylee Ford, Maria Cruz-Uceda are all on the floor for the Fighting Saints as we start the fourth quarter. So John McGinty is going with 3 reserves for the moment. Tamia Banks starts the fourth quarter on the bench for Judson. She's got 4 fouls. She was out there for the first 29 minutes before she had to take a seat for the first time. It is Jasmine Mitchell, Jocelyn Mitchell, Mercedes Rhodes, Sydney Wolf, and Sydney Novak on the floor for Judson. 2 Sydneys and 2 Mitchells. Kaylee Ford working against Jasmine Mitchell, lays it up and in. Beautiful footwork from Kaylee Ford getting around Jasmine Mitchell there. Ford has got 8 points today. She had just 29 points in 16 games all season coming in. She's got 8 today, and she's done it in just 8 minutes. Jocelyn Mitchell fires inside, finds Sydney Wolf, and Wolf is fouled by Braxton Mickens, her 4th. So Mickens becomes the second Saint to pick up her 4th foul. St. Francis is playing with only 8 players today. They had a little bit more bench flexibility on Wednesday, but really, aside from a couple of minutes from Kaylee Ford, only went with 7 players on Wednesday. So John McGinty is comfortable using a short bench, even when he's got a little bit of a longer one available. But with Andriana Acosta, Shadrian McDaniel, and Josie Graffio all out today, and Georgia Bolton joining them after she suffered an injury just a couple minutes into the game. The Fighting Saints have only 8 available players. They've used all but Carlene Jones. Kaylee Ford's played some big minutes off the bench. Hannah Switek's played huge minutes off the bench. Switek, who is the de facto starter now with Bolton out, has played 26 minutes in this game. And Switek presumably will move into the starting lineup if Bolton has to miss an extended period of time. Early indications are that she might be out for a little while. She's got the knee iced up, resting it up on the bench right now. Jasmine Mitchell for 3, rims out, and the rebound goes to Charlesworth. Charlesworth fires ahead for Braxton Mickens. Now Switek fakes the 3, puts it on the floor, works inside, a little bit short. Offensive rebound, Kaylee Ford, who puts it back up and in and draws the foul. Huge game today for Kaylee Ford in limited action. And now an opportunity for a 3-point play.
That's her 4th, team's first of the quarter.
Ford in double figures now, just a 45% foul shooter. This would give her 11 points for the game, and she's got it. To reiterate, Ford had just 29 points all season coming into today, but she's got 11 in just 9 minutes in this game. She is a perfect 5 of 5 from the field. She's got 3 rebounds as well. Jasmine Mitchell kicks it outside. 3-pointer for Rhodes is good. Rhodes has 6 points. She gets Judson on the board for the first time in this 4th quarter. Prior to that, the Saints had been on a 14-2 run. Drive from Mickens comes up a little bit short, and the rebound is knocked out of bounds. Last touched by St. Francis. Switek lobs it in for Ford. Over to Maria Cruz-Uceda. Uceda bounces to the cutting Ford, who trips over Hannah Switek Lets the ball go out of bounds. Switek got tangled up with a Judson defender. And so she fell. Ford tripped over her and was unable to receive the pass. Judson ball after the turnover. Down to the corner and outside. This is Byer bouncing over to Jasmine Mitchell. Mitchell's jumper comes up short in the face of Maria Cruz-Uceda, and a held ball called as Justine Charlesworth and Haven Byer both go after it. Possession arrow faces Judson. Sent in up top for Jasmine Mitchell, who's having a tough shooting day. Byer for three. That shot misses off the side of the rim. And here comes Justine Charlesworth. 3-point attempt. Switek, no good. Again, Charlesworth fights for the rebound. This time, she gets locked in a duel with Sydney Wolf. And the possession arrow faces St. Francis with 7:43 to play. I'm sorry, it's a foul on Charlesworth. Thought we were going to get another tie up there, but Charlesworth came in a little late that time. So forget the possession arrow. It is Judson ball. Jasmine Mitchell kicks it out to Haven Byer. Byer, one bounce, back out to Rhodes. She hits another three. Mercedes Rose has hit two in a row from outside. Just her sixth and seventh made three-pointers this year. The lead is back to 23 for the Saints. Switek drives and kicks. This is Mickens. Braxton Mickens stripped from behind. Gets it back off the foot of Jasmine Mitchell. And a kick is called. Shot clock back to 20 for the Saints, who will take it over from the baseline. Bounced in for Kaylee Ford, who lays it up and in. 13 for Ford. She is 6 of 6 from the field. Haven Byer on the wing. Up top, Jasmine Mitchell over to Rhodes. The hot hand for Judson over the last couple of minutes. She elects not to shoot this time and passes it in for the post instead. Jasmine Mitchell turnaround. Can't finesse that one in. And Maria Cruz-Uceda comes down with the rebound. Braxton Mickens from the right side. Takes it into the key. Picked into the corner. Maria Cruz-Uceda stepped on the line. She knocked down the three, but it doesn't count because she stepped out of bounds, and the Saints commit their 7th turnover of the game. Tamia Banks is back in for Judson. She played the first 29 minutes and then sat the last 5 after picking up her 4th foul. Jocelyn Mitchell fires over to Byer. Now it's Banks on the left. Banks drives. Banks is tripped. Tamia Banks has not attempted a field goal in the second half. She's 4 of 11 for the game and has a team high 15 points, but all of her points this half have come from the free throw line. Braxton Mickens has fouled out. Carlene Jones checks in for her. Mickens finishes the game with 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. Nice game all around for Mickens today. Inbounded to Banks. Sydney Wolf against Carlene Jones, able to lean in and bank it home. Nice move by Sydney Wolf. Wolf's got 8 points. Switek drives, blocked by Haven Byer from behind. And Mercedes Rhodes comes up with a loose ball. Banks out to Byer. Top of the key, it's Wolf. Banks, long 2 is good. Her first attempt of the second half. And her 5th made basket of the game. She's got 17 points. Jones drives from the right side. Carlene Jones works her way underneath. Tries the reverse layup, but she's called for the walk. Kaylin C.S. Cheney is back in for Justine Charlesworth. .21 game here. Playing mostly subs. The Saints have been a little stagnant offensively as the three-pointer misses from Rhodes. And Carlene Jones chases down the rebound. Here comes Kaylin C.S. Cheney. Hand off to Hannah Switek. Maria Cruz-Uceda this time hits the three and counts it. Last time she hit that three-pointer, she had already stepped on the out-of-bounds line. It didn't count, so this time she takes it way outside. And up top, she's able to knock it down. So is Sydney Wolf. Wolf responds with a jumper of her own. 74-52. Here's Jones. Circling the key, outside Switek. Switek puts the ball on the floor, gives it up down low to Kaylee Ford. Nearly lost out of bounds. Ford saved it to Switek, and Switek finishes underneath. Switek's got 5. Saints lead is up to 24. Wolf is turned away by Maria Cruz-Uceda, and a foul called. Not on the block. The foul is on the loose ball. It is against St. Francis. And it's on Kaylee Ford.
Kaylee Ford, her second. Team's fourth.
Second foul on Ford. Saints have hit their limit. So the next one will send Judson to the line. Sydney Novak is the inbounder here. 4:11 on the clock. Saints appear to be on their way to their second victory of the week after they took down Indiana South Bend on Wednesday. Lost a tough one to St. Xavier last Saturday, which dropped them to 3rd in the conference. They will not see St. Xavier again during the regular season. Still have one meeting to go against the number 1 team in the conference right now as Novak misses the jumper. Rebound to the Saints. It's Kaylin C.S. Cheney. Out to Hannah Switek. 3 ball is short. Maria Cruz-Uceda called for the push-off on the rebound. I think she got Delia Ticini in the back. And that's the 5th foul on St. Francis. So Delia Ticini will go to the free throw line on the other end of the floor. Just checked in for the first time a moment ago. This will be her first free throw attempt of the season, or maybe not. I guess Maria Cruz-Uceda got Sydney Novak rather than Ticini, so it's Novak going to the line. This is not her first attempt of the year. She's an 80% shooter. She makes her first. Saints have not seen St. Ambrose yet this year. It's coming up in a couple of weeks still. Both free throws good from Novak, and a timeout is called. Of the top 4 teams in the conference, it's St. Ambrose, St. Xavier, St. Francis, and Olivet Nazarene. And the Saints get only 1 meeting with each of those other 3 teams, and all of them on the road. They don't see any of those 3 here in Joliet. They're 1-1 so far in those games. They beat Olivet. They lost to St. Xavier. And again, the St. Ambrose game is coming up in a few weeks. St. Ambrose has been unbeatable of late. And the Saints are hoping that they have something a little bit closer to the full battery of players when that game does come up. At the moment, they're playing without Andriana Acosta. Shadrian McDaniel and Josie Graffio are both going to be out, so they're not coming back. And obviously we don't know anything about Georgia Bolton yet, as she just went down today. But Acosta has come back from her injury and went to sit again today, was flaring up again. Maria Cruz-Uceda, another 3-point attempt. Back iron this time. Ford fights for the rebound and grabs it. Kaylee Ford is called for the walk. Ford was taking it into some traffic there. Her perfect day is in jeopardy. Only high percentage shots from here on out. 3:40 to play. Ford is 6 for 6 shooting today, 13 points. Only Charlesworth and Pyle have scored more. Jordan Pyle, 19 points, 9 rebounds. She's been on the bench the entire fourth quarter. This is Ticini off the glass and in. It's her third collegiate field goal for the freshman Delia Ticini. Makes it a 20-point game. Maria Cruz-Uceda loses possession, and Rhodes falls on top of the loose ball. Here comes Tamia Banks. Up top, Byer. Jasmine Mitchell back around to Banks on the wing. Lob down low, Jasmine Mitchell. Mitchell turns to face the basket. Her jumper misses, and Ford comes up with a long rebound. Everybody else kind of just watched the ball bounce around there. Ford was able to grab it and secure possession for St. Francis. Here's Carlene Jones. Down low, Kaylee Ford. Ford is blocked by Mitchell out of bounds. So the perfect day is gone. Not sure if Ford was shooting or passing there. But the ball found its way into Ford's hands either way. Saints get to maintain possession, 15 on the shot clock. Lobbed into Maria Cruz-Uceda. Bounced into the post. Kaylee Ford is fouled. So Mitchell came up with the block, but that was after the foul. Kaylee Ford goes to the line for 2 shots.
Number 41, Jasmine Mitchell, her second. Team second.
First foul shot is good from Kaylee Ford. She's 2 of 2 from the line today. It's a season high 14 points for the Moraine Valley transfer. And now she's got 15. .22-point game here. Judson trying to tighten it up over the final few minutes. Jasmine Mitchell working against Ford down low, able to bank it in. It's 10 for Jasmine Mitchell now. Second Eagle in double figures. 3-point attempt for Kaylin C.S. Cheney is no good. Carlene Jones battles for the rebound and grabs it. Jones out to Kaylin C.S. Cheney. Finds Hannah Switek. Switek drives, baseline, reverse layup, got it. Impressive drive from Hannah Switek. Saints have hit 80 points in the game. First time they've scored 80 since they scored 83 against Cardinal Stritch back on January 8th. Tamia Banks nearly traveled, somehow kept her toe on the ground. Step back from 3-point range is good. Tamia Banks from the outside, her second 3-pointer of the game. Give her a game-high 20 points now. As we enter the final minute of play, Maria Cruz-Uceda misses on the 3, and a foul is called on Kaylin C.S. Cheney going for the rebound. That's 4 on her.
Foul called on number 3, foul called on number 2, Kaylin C.S. Cheney, her 4th.
59 seconds to play as Banks trudges to the other end of the floor for 2 free throws. Judson trying to keep this one under 20. St. Francis took them out by 31 the first time they met up at Judson. Back in the first game of the season for both of these teams, all the way back on October the 29th. Both free throws good from Banks. 22 points for her. And the Saints slow things down here with under a minute to go. Switek over to Cruz-Uceda. Maria Cruz-Uceda on the runner. Banks at home. Nice little runner for Maria Cruz-Uceda there. She's got 5 points. 82-63 the score. Ball goes through the hands of Sydney Novak, but Judson keeps it alive. There's Jocelyn Mitchell. Into Novak, who dribbled it off her foot, but again Judson keeps it alive. Novak, layup is good. And with the shot clock off, St. Francis can just dribble it out here. 82-65 our score. Kaylin C.S. Cheney does not look like she's in any hurry to get the offense rolling here, so it appears this will be our final score. Fighting Saints didn't get rolling right off the tip here today, but they were able to turn it up late in the first half and pull away. After we were tied at 22, they wrapped up the first half on an 18-4 run. An 18-4 run, and never really looked back. The second half was all theirs as they cruised to an 82-65 win. They built up a lead of as many as 29 points at one stage, played mostly reserves in the fourth quarter, and they were able to come away with a relatively smooth second half in the victory. With the win, the Saints are 15-6 overall. They pick up their second straight win and improve to 12-2 in conference play. Judson falls to 4-8 in the conference. They are 4-13 overall. Leading scorer today for St. Francis is Jordan Pyle. Pyle just missed a double-double. She had 19 points on 8 of 12 shooting, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, and played only 28 minutes. She sat the entire fourth quarter. Justine Charlesworth finished with 14 points on 5 of 6 shooting, 6 rebounds for her. And Kaylee Ford chipped in with a season-high 15 points, 6 of 7 shooting, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. She also grabbed 5 rebounds. Judson was led by Tamia Banks, who finished with 22 points. They also got double-figure efforts from Sydney Novak with 12 points. Sydney Wolf and Jasmine Mitchell each had 10. Kaylin C.S. Cheney for the Saints just missed a double-double, 11 points, 8 rebounds. She also dished out 5 assists. Saints as a team shot 50% from the field today. Judson was at 38. St. Francis out-rebounded Judson 44-29. Both teams finished with a respectable number of 10 turnovers. Second time this year that the Saints beat Judson. It's the first time that it happened in conference play. The other was officially a non-conference game. The one downside today for St. Francis is that they lost Georgia Bolton to an injury, so we'll find out going forward what the extent of that injury is. Next time the Saints take the floor, it will be Tuesday evening at a 6 o'clock game against Governor State University. So that's the makeup game that they'll be making up from a cancellation a couple of weeks ago, meaning that it's going to be a very busy week for the Fighting Saints. 4 games to be played over the next 8 days, including today, and it starts with a victory today. Again, 82-65 our final score. That'll do it for today's broadcast. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, we got a doubleheader here. St. Francis and Judson men's action is coming up at the top of the hour. So hopefully you're back for that one as well. I will be, as the Saints try to make it a perfect day on the basketball floor. The women's team holds up their end of the bargain with the 82-65 win. Until next time, Terry Bonadonna here signing off from the University of St. Francis. We'll talk soon.